Hi and welcome. Welcome back if you have been here before, and welcome if this is your first time. My name is Win, and I am heart centered. And I'm really excited because as of yesterday, I decided that I'm going to commit to a 90-day challenge to post every day, and it's going to be a wild ride together. If you have any suggestions or ideas of things you would want me to talk about, feel free to share with me. Otherwise, I will find things that I'm thinking about, things that I'm processing, questions, synchronicities, terms, even that I'm coming across, and talk to you about it because sometimes it's hard to find someone to think about these things that we are thinking in our own minds with. And so I hope you consider this a space to be able to wonder and to listen to wonderings and how it might impact you. So I just finished a training called A Deeper Dive into Mindfulness. And we talked about mindfulness and meditation and did a short breathing exercise. We also talked about some of the benefits of having a consistent mindfulness practice. And then we did the rain meditation that's taught by Tara Brock. And I wonder if you've come across mindfulness or mindfulness practices in your journey, what you think of it, how helpful or supportive it is for you, any struggles or challenges that you have with it. Um, for myself, when I first decided that I wanted to try meditating, um, oh, like 27 years ago. Was it 27? No, 17. Not so good with math. 17 years ago, I was trying seated meditation. And it was interesting because I actually started at around the same time that I started to learn yoga asana or the postures. And so for me, I found that the physical practice was easier for me to focus. Whereas when I was seated and uncomfortable in my body as my legs fell asleep in a seated posture, it it was more challenging than I thought it would be. And so I I focused more on yoga postures until I could find opportunities for meditation. And since then, I have adapted, based on my body's needs and my energy levels. But it's, the idea of presence and mindfulness in today's world, like who I am when I practice meditation now versus who I was when I first started, there are so many more distractions, and my brain has changed and my habits have changed a lot. And so, I'm sharing this um, in the case that you've been practicing and you're frustrated or disappointed or happy or proud of your practice. I guess just to point out that it shifts and it changes, and it doesn't make it a bad thing, or it doesn't mean that you're failing. um and sometimes you fall off and you don't come back to it for days, weeks, months, years, and that's okay too. um for me, my meditation practice didn't become solidified until my father passed away. He transitioned physically, and it was a 90-day challenge that I committed to 5 years ago. And so it definitely took time to cultivate and to become consistent, but it is a regular part of my day now. I do listen to guided meditations on Insight Timer. And so it helps me to hear someone's voice. And depending on what I'm thinking about, what I'm learning, what I'm struggling with, I look for those different kinds of topics. And so that's been helpful for me. It's a good time for me to be intentional, and it sets me up for a better day, I believe. Um, but I think, and meditation teachers will say this, and yoga instructors too, but the time you spend on the mat or on a cushion, right? We want to get to a point where we're practicing off the cushion and off the mat. And so I think that is still something that I struggle with, even if I have a consistent meditation practice in the mornings. Um, how mindful am I? How compassionate am I? How open to possibilities am I as I'm going throughout the day and external, factors are constantly changing, whether it's within my community or outside of my community. And so just just a lot there. And I just want to encourage you in the case that it's something that you're trying to cultivate or establish or reestablish, and really to take a moment and think about, why it's important to you. I think the why is always critical, especially when things change and conditions change in our life and inside of us too. Um, what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? And if you answer that question, and maybe this isn't a good time, there are other practices that you can explore and try out. I always like to think of it as a playlist of practices or a toolbox of practices that I can use based on how I'm feeling, what I need, what I'm going through. And so, just wanting to share that with you today as I get started on this 90-day adventure. I look forward to finding ways to connect with you. And again, if there's anything or any questions, feel free to reach out. You can find my contact information in the community tab. And I do hope that wherever you are in the world, you take a moment to pause and tune in, and just to celebrate that you're here. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you exist. And I look forward to sharing our adventures together. You take good care, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.